Hello, and welcome to the Power of Passive Investing webinar series. We are starting this year by interviewing one of the amazing entrepreneurs that I know. I'm sure she has been Entrepreneur of the Year. If not, then I'm sure she'll get it in 2025. Precious Williams. Precious, welcome, and we're excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for agreeing to join us. So we always start by asking our guests to give a brief bio, tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves and how you got here.
Ooh, how did I get here? Well, everyone, I am Precious Williams, and I feel like I got here in a very unexpected way. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be an attorney, write the great American novel, have billboards in Times Square. All of those things would sound really cool, but seemed really strange for a little girl who grew up in the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri. Yet I was crystal clear all of those were going to happen. I used to watch Perry Mason, Black and White, Matlock, Law and Order. The glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. I mean, I was
Wow.
on it. Court
Wow, this
TV
is
in its infancy. And so I worked towards having that. I started speaking professionally when I was 16 years old in front of politicians and went off to college on a full scholarship, law school on a full scholarship, got kicked out of one law school, and then got a full scholarship to another. I mean, just all craziness. And I took
incredible.
and passed the New York State Bar on my first try, was admitted in New York State, and the games began. I was a litigator. I loved being in the courtroom. I love the trauma, I love the drama, the energy, and being able to express. Because people think of attorneys as nothing more than you read things, and that determines who's going to win the case. I'm like, y'all really don't know. You really don't know. How do you process and synthesize information? How do you get a jury to be wrapped around the words that you're using and the story that you're telling? But how did I get to be the international professional speaker, the proud founder and CEO of Curvy Girls Lingerie, Perfect Pitches by Precious, and now the Perfect Pitch Group? 13-time national elevator pitch champion, five-time number one best-selling author, appeared on Shark Tank season 8 in 2016. All of my clients who've appeared on Shark Tank have been funded, training over 500 plus pitch champions, and now being a top Fortune 100 corporate sales trainer. And yet I started by wanting to be an attorney.
Incredible.
So that is how I got here. And part of it is pushing against the grain, not allowing people to put me in a box because of my skin color or because of my gender, and embracing the things that seem so impossible just to prove it can be done. And that's how I became the killer pitch master, slaying all competition with a killer pitch, to now being the ultimate rainmaker, where we make it rain and slay the game. I am Precious Williams, proud founder and CEO of the Perfect Pitch Group.
That is absolutely incredible, Precious. And of course, I'm sure many of our listeners would now want to know, how does one go from being an attorney, essentially having your dream come true? You've dreamed from literally birth to become an attorney, got to that point, was on stage, was doing amazing, enjoying it, having a lot of fun, helping your clients. And then all of a sudden, or maybe not so sudden, you switched and turned into CEO, entrepreneur, and became not just a pitch maker, but a multiple winner of pitch competitions and helped numerous clients do the same. So please share with us.
I think this week goes back to unexpected detours. Yes, I wanted to be an attorney for so long. And I did become that great litigator. And I did love it until I didn't, until I thought about doing this for 40 years and felt like there was something more in me. And I started to look back on why I never fit in quite like the square peg in a round hole. It's because I was meant to do something different. And so being an attorney gave me legitimacy. people could respect someone who actually graduated from law school, passed the New York State Bar on their first try, and actually had Sullivan and Cromwell clerking for federal judge in the Southern District, was in medical malpractice, products liability, toxic torts, mortgage foreclosure defense, landlord tenant. Oh, yes, I do have a background for 8 years. However, it took me meeting an incredible man after I left my ex-fiance. And he inspired something in me. I was 327 pounds when I met this incredible man. And he wanted a relationship with me. Very famous Hollywood actor. He is now deceased. And it came to me, a lingerie company for full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas. I'm 327, too fat, too black, no Ivy League degree. That's what people told me and wouldn't invest. And I had to decide if I'm worth it. If women like me, who probably a majority of the population, who have a little bit more meat on their bones, they don't have BBLs, they don't have six-pack abs, are we worthy? And I decided yes. And so I pursued it. And it wasn't until I gave my first pitch on national television that I realized that pitching changes everything. Being able to successfully pitch, to take the things that people say are all wrong with me and showcase how right my perceived flaws are. I am a Black woman. I'm now in my 40s, and I did this in my 30s. I am someone who's been counted out and used every flaw as my secret weapon because you never saw me coming. There was no great announcement. So I had to announce big, bad, and bold, and to do it on national television and walk away with $500,000 in 54 seconds. No one taught me how to pitch. I instinctively knew how, and I used it to my advantage. And then over time, Queen, to be honest, I saw the vision that this was going to take me places. Not just your elevator pitch, your media pitch, your investor pitch, your sales pitch, your speaker pitch, and your interview pitch. I wanted to teach at top HBCUs, historically Black colleges and institutions, historically Black colleges and universities, top PWIs, and Ivy League institutions. Everybody told me it was impossible, yet I did it. And then I set my sets high for the Googles, the LinkedIns, the Microsofts, the Federal Reserve Banks, the Sirius XM, the Verizons, and I did it
Amazing.
because it was communication that got me here. The ability to communicate, the ability to sell, the ability to bait, attract, and close with ease, the ability to package, position, and pitch. This is what the journey has been in the last 14 years since I started Curvy Girls to now Perfect Pitch Group. It also took an understanding of different audiences require different ways of approaching them. And so in the age that we live in, there's still ways to cut through the clutter and the noise. And I can show you how.
That is absolutely amazing, and it's incredible. Not everyone is lucky where they can find their passion and pursue it and be as successful as you are. But it sounds like in your case, you had the right people in your surrounding, and again, it probably was meant to be. So that person would be in your surrounding, and he would guide you in a direction where you ended up being, where you can utilize your gift fully, because what you have is truly a gift. It's not a skill. I'm sure you excelled upon it over time and have gotten better, but you had to have that gift at first to realize that yes, this was my calling and I need to use that calling to help myself and help other people. So for our folks that are listening to us, if they're still on a search for that path, I don't want to call it perfect path, but on a
Right.
search to find the path where they can find what is the right place for myself, how can I utilize myself. And of course, like you said, you always need the pitch. It doesn't matter whether you're pitching to investors or pitching to clients or pitching to customers or whatever it is, but you have to have a pitch. But how can they find their calling, and know that this is something that they will enjoy for at least some time and can utilize their skills?
Wayne, to
What's
be
better?
quite honest with you, mine came through an unexpected detour. It really did. It wasn't like this wasn't planned out by any stretch. And just because I was dating a very famous Hollywood actor, he did not believe in curvy girls. He didn't. He
Hmm.
did not believe. But the one thing he said is, I met you off a dating app because you wrote a poem called Two to Tango, and
Oh,
that
wow.
got him. Mind you, I'm still 327, so still get that in your mind. Get that in your mind. This story doesn't make sense. And so I want you all to understand about embracing unexpected detours. If I was still an attorney, I'm sure I'd be great, probably still be disgruntled. But there are certain things that come up that I think you should explore. So I call it the art of testing. Had I not met him and started to look at myself through his eyes, he saw
Hmm.
something worthy. I didn't. I just left my ex-fiance. I'm 327. I'm probably whack. And he saw something worth fighting for and being in a relationship with. What did that inspire in me to look around? Starting a lingerie company is not easy. I had no skill sets in business. And if I hadn't gone to the New York Public Library at 34th in Madison, Sybil, Science, Engineering, and Business Library, and just kind of tinkered with the idea of a lingerie company, I did research with the research librarians who really showed me how to get a business plan together. But when I say testing, like there's certain things that you have in your arsenal right now you've never explored.
Right.
Explore it. Queen, for example, I'm writing poetry. I wrote poetry back in the day and kind of didn't write, and now I'm writing again. What is that testing? Have I gotten better over time?
I'm
What would I
sure.
do with it? Is that something to be set up for somebody to pay me for? Or is it a nice little hobby I just love doing? I think when you take action on something, whether it's an unexpected detour, or maybe you're inspired by someone who's on stage, maybe you take an improv class, it will lead you to an unexpected detour that ultimately will become one of those chapters in your life. And so, lingerie, to this day, I'm still kind of stunned. And then from there, after he died, Perfect Pitches by Precious, because no one would have cared about the lingerie had I not pitched it, had I not showed up as the full figure diva and a plus size fashionista to Perfect Pitch Group and embracing every chapter along that journey. So testing and also looking around. Everybody's trying to do the programs, the courses, and all of that. Is there some other way that you can build a community around something that you actually like? And maybe you'll monetize it, maybe you won't, but it might lead you to a relationship with someone who wants to bring you in. And then you start to recognize those dots that Steve Jobs talked about connecting it backwards, not forwards.
You obviously have an entrepreneur mind, and you thinking 10 steps ahead instead of thinking, oh, why am I going to spend time on this mastermind or on this group if I'm not going to monetize it? But wait, you said something very, very important, and I want our audience to pay attention to that. Maybe it'll lead you to relationship. And mind you, you didn't say business. It could be business, it could be personal relationship, doesn't matter, but it could be relationship that will take you places down the road, or maybe you and that relationship can create something that will impact the village. And that's what we're here for on this planet Earth, to impact others, to bring positive impact to people in our communities, to people around us. And that's what I love about you, because I feel like every time we meet, especially when we meet in person, when
Yeah.
when you walk into the room, Precious, that positive impact is already there by default, just the minute you walk into the room, because of all that positive energy that you bring with you into the room. And that's what I love about you. Um, so let's explore this further. So basically what you said is, if you as an entrepreneur have something on your mind, even if you're not entrepreneur, you have something on your mind, and you're toying with the idea, just take action. Go outside of your comfort zone and try it out. The worst thing that can happen, it will not work. Okay, you'll shelve it out and you'll try something else. But if you don't try it out, you're not gonna know if you're gonna succeed in it. And I love how you brought an example of a library. I mean, now with AI and technology, we can get so lazy that we don't have to go anywhere. We can literally do it at the convenience of our phone. You know, we don't even have to be at home. We can be anywhere, just use our phones and start doing the research from anywhere, literally, which is incredible.
Which
Um,
is also a trap too.
very big
Because
trap.
you and I are talking right now. Imagine if I could not have this conversation because I sent you everything via AI. I'm not going to be able to talk about this with experience and knowledge. All I would do is regurgitate surface conversations that are going on all day, every day. So the ability to pitch human to human, if you're on a phone call, if you're on a Zoom, or you're live and speaking, AI has never answered a question while I'm on stage, has never given my speech on stage. I don't need any, like, I can honestly say when I'm speaking, like there might be a PowerPoint. I'd say drop the mic, give me a mic and a light, take all that off. I'm going to show you what talent, skill set, and ability really looks like when it's been honed over the years. And
Amazing.
that is something we forget as humans, is you can AI all of this other stuff, but it's not going to answer those questions in an interview. It's not going to build the relationship for you. And you said something so key, and I was hoping you heard me. The right relationship. The right
Yep.
relationship can put you in the right career, could put you in the right position, can bless you with lucrative opportunities you that aren't even advertised. So whether you're an entrepreneur or you're going back into corporate America or you're looking for ways to scale up in your career, there's someone you're going to have to know. There's someone who's got to take a chance on you. So you have to be congruent online and offline and be worth talking about to other people. So I'm congruent online and offline, and you're going to make this
Excellent.
work.
Yep, excellent. And that's what I wanted to cover next. So, a majority of our listeners are either folks that are real estate investors or W-2 professionals that are working and maybe investing passively. So, if you speak into those audiences, knowing what we know is that we're always pitching. And again, pitch doesn't have to be a competition on stage, pitch
Right.
product.
Mm-mm.
Pitch is pitching in your career or pitching to potential investors if you're raising capital and so forth. So, what would be your suggestions for folks, for instance, that have a property and they're trying to pitch it to their investors? How should they approach it? What should they prepare? What kind of homework should they do first before doing the pitch?
So here are some of the things that I want you all to keep in mind as you're preparing to pitch. Number one, a pitch is not always standing up and just talking at people. It can be very conversational. Number two, what is the end goal of the pitch? Do you want them to look at the property? Do you want them to check you out more? What do you want to leave them with so that they don't forget you or this particular property? Number three, and this is a very important question I'm about to ask all of you because we forget about this. The point of the pitch is, why should they hire you, book you, refer you, invest in you, buy from you, purchase from you? Why should they? And you need 150 reasons why. You may come up with 5 to 10 on your own. And this is why having a trusted network, I didn't say family and friends, I said trusted network. Ask them why. Why would they, what would they say to other people to get them to want to work with you? And here's another question on top of, answering why should they hire you, book you, refer you, invest in you, purchase from you, buy, all that kind of stuff. Ask that network, what is special about you from their perspective? And you're going to find out
Love
that
it.
what you think about yourself is nothing compared to how they see you. Nothing.
100%.
Nothing. Y'all might think people hire me for pitching. They don't. They hire me for my energy, my ability to synthesize information and break it down. And they become calm because they're dealing with someone who's not going to embarrass them. In addition to pitching and training and all of that sort of thing.
Love it.
The fourth thing I want you all to think about is as you're preparing to pitch, you got your target market in front of you. Are they the real target market you should be in front of? Just because people have the ability to purchase does not mean they're the right client, does not mean they're the right prospect. We have
So
to go
true.
deeper, demographics, psychographics. On top of that, what is compelling about that property, specific to who's in front of you? So it's like knowing what they're interested in, meaning doing the deep work and not just showing up saying, I got this property that, nah, we don't do that. We do the due diligence to stand out and above other people trying to get people invested in their properties. So do the hard work. It pays off because as you go up this ladder, it gets much easier. The harder you work now, the easier it gets later. Number 6, what's your call to action? What do you want them to do after they hear your pitch? Have you given them a reason to? So starting off with a question, a startling statistic, or a quote. Instead of, my name is this is the name of my company's property. No, 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 that's boring. All of that can be in your pitch. But your first thing should be, what is a compelling question, startling statistic, or quote? And you only do this at the end of creating the pitch because you want to start off with a bang and you want to end with fireworks. So your name of your company is irrelevant until you give them a reason to drop the cell phone and all eyes on you. All eyes on what you're talking about. Making sure you're making that connection, looking them in the eye, really talking about the things that matter to them and being able to read the room when you need to change certain things. So I know that's a lot to think about. And that's why as a killer pitch master and the ultimate rainmaker, I take my craft so seriously because I wouldn't be in where I've been if I only did the surface things that looked pretty and sounded pretty or went to the Google School of Pitching. There's much more to this than you ever know.
Love it, love it. And the Precious, essentially, what I got from your suggestions is if I were a suit maker, it would not be one size fits all kind of solution. It has to be customized specifically for the client. If he has, wide shoulders, if he's tall or short, whatever it is, the suit has to be customized to a particular client. The shape, the color, the matching buttons and everything has to be matched with
But that also applies to the person too. Queen, there was a time
personality.
I took anybody who came through the door. Anybody who came through the door. Rent is too darn high here in New York. Over the years, I got to understand who my real prospect is. And it hasn't always been the same.
Hmm.
Why did I go to companies last? Corporations, foundations, nonprofits. I was building a track record. So when I was taking on women wanting to win pitch competitions or growing and scaling their companies, they had a different goal and mission altogether versus private associations, memberships. Not, it's just different. So how
Sure.
I spoke to them was different. And then as I started going to Ivy League institutions, PWIs, top HBCUs, that's education, but teaching them, their students, how to pitch themselves in interviews, how to be the only choice that matters. And then as you start going up this ladder, Fortune 500, Fortune 100, those issues are different. Even if they seem similar, they're still different because who are they pitching to is different. So understanding that where I started is not where I'm ending. It's not.
Mhm.
And it's been a joy to watch the changes as people have pulled me, organizations pulled me up because they recognize something in me that they weren't getting in their other providers. So starting here is not bad. You'll start to learn, and there comes a point in every visionary, you start to see the tide is changing in business. Where else am I needed that they don't have someone like me with my particular skill sets? How do I attract them? That's what I mean too. So as you are, getting clear on your target market, because we often don't start off right, and that's okay. That's part of the journey. You'll start to see there are certain rooms you're supposed to be in and other rooms you're not. Why you become more exclusive as you go up the ladder, not being everywhere. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. In other words, focus. Always focus and narrow your focus and niche down.
Right.
Love it. Love it. No, that's amazing. So on that note, who do you primarily work with nowadays?
So primarily, I do work with tech companies, financial services companies, private associations, and real estate companies. So as I think I might have told you,
Yeah.
I was hired to speak at a retreat for Keller Williams Coastal Realty on Block Island.
Amazing. Wow.
When I tell you, it was such a wonderful experience. And not that I'm one to get into race and gender all the time. I've never heard of Block Island.
Amazing.
So getting there, stepping off the ferry, there are no Ubers and Lyfts. So I'm thinking it's one thing that's not. Those are bed and breakfasts. There's no tall buildings. Most of the things on the island are in money. And I remember stepping off thinking, oh, I don't know what to do. And the team that hired me had a man come and put money in my hand and get me in this van and took me to my bed and breakfast, got situated, came down, and I just looked out at this beautiful water, beautiful scenery and everything. And I looked and I said, I feel like a Black Kennedy. I was adopted by a family. It's there because they just enjoyed me so much. And we had a great time at the retreat because I was teaching and training in ways they had never seen before. And then afterwards, we had this great meal. We were at this particular restaurant, and I looked out and I thought back to that little girl from St. Louis who grew up in poverty, who made it out of the inner city, who went to college and law school, who wanted to live in New York City, who's had 3 billboards in Times Square, written 5 number 1 best-selling books. Look at where life can go when you dare to go against the grain. And it wasn't easy and it wasn't perfect, but it was perfect for me. And it's perfect in teaching others unexpected detours matter. And it wasn't always business. Sometimes people say your names for opportunities that have nothing to do with business, but eventually fold into business because they trust you now. They bring you to places. No pictures, no pictures, please. You're one of us now.
Absolutely incredible. And the mere fact that you were willing to take action and step out of your comfort zone and look where it brought you, it's absolutely incredible. And that's what I love the most about you, Precious. So
Thank you, Queen.
thank you so much for this amazing interview. We always like to wrap our interviews with 2 questions. Number one is, how can our audience find you? What are the best ways to find you?
Okay. So the best ways to find me, again, I am Precious L. Williams, proud founder and CEO of the Perfect Pitch Group. Our website is www.perfectpitchgroup.com. On our
Love.
website, we even have free gifts for you. The first chapter of my Rainmaking 101 from Day One book and a PDF, How to Make It Rain in Your Business Today. On
Love it.
LinkedIn, I am Precious L. Williams, Rainmaking Speaker. On Instagram, I'm at Perfect Pitch Group, and on Facebook at Perfect Pitch Group. If you want to work with me one-on-one, please go to on our website, Experience Precious. Want to check out the events that I'm speaking at globally. Go to our events page, check out what press I'm in and everything like that. And please contact me. We'd love to have you. And if you want to check out my books are definitely on Amazon and anywhere where fine books are sold. And that is how you can get in contact with me. I do respond to emails.
One of a few people that who still responds to emails, which is
Yeah.
incredible. And thank you for
Mhm.
doing that, Precious. Yes, and I am a proof that it is true that Precious does respond to every single email. And please reach out to her again if you're looking to make your pitch perfect. And it doesn't matter who you're pitching to, but you're
Right.
always
And
pitching.
Queen, we also do have a pitching We have this thing called the Perfect Pitch Blueprint, and I could probably send the link. I
Wow.
forgot to send it to you, but there's a link called the Perfect Pitch Blueprint, and it goes over the 6 different forms of pitching, when to use it, how to use it, and it's a part of our Rainmaking Speaker Triple Threat Bundle. But you can get the Perfect Pitch Blueprint for free, and check out our website to get it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for sharing how our listeners can contact you. And our last question is we like to ask, how do you like to give back?
Oh, I love to give back by volunteering. 7 years ago, I walked out of homelessness. That same man, that famous actor, he died when right after I appeared on Shark Tank. And I couldn't imagine life without him. And I became a severe alcoholic and tried to take my life on my 38th birthday. So as I get closer to 46, I remember from 2017 to 2018 that I was homeless on the streets of New York. So y'all are not seeing someone who did it perfectly. You're seeing someone who rose through the fire like a phoenix, went from rock bottom to the top, and I did it better the second time for my second chance. So I volunteer with Bottomless Closet, the Bowery Mission Women's Center, Dress for Success, Empower the Village. I volunteer my time and my services. I also raise money for Savvy Ladies, for Bottomless Closet, and for the Bowery Mission. Because without any of them, the precious who's before you right now would not be able to tell these stories. And it's because of the love and support of donors, supporters, mentors, and staff that I have my second chance to show you what life looks like after rock bottom. And I am almost 8 years clean and sober when I turn 46. So it's big. And that's how I give back. I'm not ashamed of my past. In fact, I don't want people to get stuck there because I'm a triumph story. I'm not a sad story at all. That's how I give back.
It's absolutely amazing, and I love it. And you're definitely an inspiration for many. And thank you so much for being open, transparent, and vulnerable, and sharing your story, which is a real proof that we don't go. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make.
No, 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 no. It
We are
has to
not.
happen.
Yeah,
I'm a real person.
you're a real person. We are not perfect. We're not going from one destination to another. It's not a straight line. We're all going through obstacles, but essentially, as the song goes, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And that's what happened to you. It literally did.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that, Precious. It has been an amazing interview. I'm sure our listeners are going to love it and reach out to you. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your nuggets of wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.